roll.
There you go. Nailed it.
We have lots of ideas. The
Yeah.
Bearables.
Yeah. That's a good one too. And like, yeah, that's shelved right now, but
It is shelved, and I thought, yeah, put Bearables up there, but
For a later date.
yeah. Board it. Not shelved. There's a new word. Board it.
Oh,
Tell them you're not trying to draw a bear.
I am. That's the ears, but it didn't work very well.
We better get Josh in here for the drawing. Okay. There you go. Hey, there you go.
there's my bear.
So, just a spin-off idea of that real quick. Next to the Bearable, just put a picture of a small box.
Jesus, man. You think I'm that good?
Just a box next to the bear. Just a box. There you go. And this is why. This is why we're doing the box. That's all.
That's it.
This is why we're doing the box. Because I had this. So, like, trying to get the technology into. We can talk about Bearables real quick.
Yeah. Throw it.
So Aaron and I came up with this concept for these bears, and the first idea was like you'd push the hand on the bear or whatever, kind of like what's that company?
Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bears.
Yeah.
And it would just say positive sayings to you, like, you know, you're not alone in this. You can make it. You're stronger than you think. Just like positive. And it came from an idea that stemmed from an original idea from Aaron about things being unbearable. Okay? And then he crossed out the un,
So it's
and so they're now bearable. So then we would call them Bearables. But the logistics of trying to get a bunch of sayings into an electronic, into a teddy bear, is not for poor people.
No.
For us to try to pull this off, we would need Shark Tank. And I think if we brought our idea on Shark Tank, they'd laugh at us because
Yeah.
I don't think they care about feelings.
If there is any venture capitalists that do listen to us, we would be happy to sit with you one day. Because if you are looking to, throw some money at something, we got plenty of ideas and plenty of places to put it.
Yeah.
So, no questions asked.
I don't think this idea would make a lot of money, but I think it would save a lot of people.
Yep.
So the box. So I was in Walmart. I still buy like Star Wars the Black Series action figures. Like I still buy it. Like I still go down the toy aisle.
Oh yeah. I'm not surprised.
I still go down the toy aisle. And there's these little boxes. They're super fun looking boxes. They're like $8.99 or whatever, like $5.99. Like most people could get one, you know, for their kid or for themselves. The boxes are super colorful and fun. It's got the clear plastic, you know, like cut out on the front. And so what I was thinking, we would put different bearable characters in there. And then it would come with a mini book. So a mini book.
Yeah.
That would go in the back of that box. And then that would give us an opportunity to share a little more, you know, and maybe we could even do like the business bearable. So in that little book, so it looked like a little business bearable with the Always Tired ink flair.
Yeah.
And then on that little book, because this is way more doable, right? The logistics are a lot, like I could get somebody to make us a box. We could print the little booklets. Like,
right.
So like a business bearable would kind of talk about those unbearable moments in business that we've had.
Yep.
But without getting real specific, like, oh, this one company's truck that I tried to wrap and this went, but so not real specific, but then we would share how we bared it.
Yeah.
How we bared through that.
Yep, I like that a lot. And throw us your ideas. Remember that email, thetooboutreach@gmail.com.
Yep, and I check it every day. This Jelly Beans has this really fun game. You buy this box and it's called, what's it called? We played it with my wife and friends, but like, so there's 5 different colors of jelly beans in that box. There's like a green one, and it's either apple or booger.
Yep.
And then there's like tan, and it's either toffee or
puke.
Dead fit. Yeah. So that's a fun game.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. I definitely don't know that game specifically, but I've been with other people that have had those, weird flavor. It's like you just are eating them until you get a bad one or whatever. You're like, oh, dude, so bad. But some of those flavors are so good. Like recently, I saw somebody had a box, and it had a bunch, like, 50 compartments, like with different flavored jelly beans in it. And dude, some of those flavors are just out of this world. Like Piña Colada and like green apple, dude. Those are, I mean, I'm all about Piña Colada, man. Give me a Piña Colada and a beanbag chair.
I got a story on Piña Coladas.
Okay.
Great summer drink. The sun's shining today. I'm happier when the sun is shining.
Yep. I am too. Fact.
So when I was, I don't know, we grew up close with our cousins, and I grew up close with my brother, and we would go on, like every couple of years, we would go on an all-inclusive trip, and I believe this trip was to Mexico, Puerto Vallarta, and it was all-inclusive, and as kids, we would go up to the bar, for the first day we were there, first full day, and we would get Piña Coladas. And we were drinking these things like they were going out of style, and I'm probably, I don't know, 12. And my cousins are younger than that. And we start feeling real weird. They were putting alcohol in them. I didn't know if they thought we were getting them for our parents or something.
So you guys were getting drunk.
Yep, without even knowing it. Yep.
Dude, and at that age, like, even drinking one, you would probably be like, holy.
Right? Oh, and we downed a couple. Yep.
Ouch.
Yep.
Ouch, dude.
Maybe that was the start of my addiction.
Yeah. Piña Coladas.
No, I didn't actually get drunk for my first time until, like, maybe junior year, senior year in high school. I think was my first, not senior, junior year. I think was my first time getting drunk. Yeah.
I think I was a senior. So, do you battle Lyme disease? You don't have Lyme disease? I do.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think I really battle it anymore. I got it like 7 or 8 years ago.
You brought that up really weirdly.
Yeah, because like I've just
That's really awkward.
This
is like an awkward first date.
Yeah, like So I just have this weird pain in my arm today, and it reminds me of how I felt when I first got Lyme disease. And like I've definitely had flare-ups like over the years too and stuff, but like it just kind of popped into my head, and I'm like, it's such an interesting topic. There's a lot of people that fight Lyme disease up here. Yeah. There's a really cool Lyme disease research center, I think, right here in Woodruff. Yeah. But that's a really interesting topic, man.
It is.
There's a lot of because that's with you forever once you have it.
Right.
The origination, it's a little like sketchy of what the origination of Lyme disease was, but I've read different stuff, and one of the stories is like it was they were testing like a medical warfare thing out on an island, and in these ticks, and then they got out.
Well, that's how coronavirus
was
made.
Right.
It was made in a lab and it got out.
Yeah. So
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
A lot of people, it affects a lot of lives up here, and there's a lot of, I think, misinformation about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's,
a misdiagnosis.
Misdiagnosis of it.
A lot of that.
Right. Like, oh, you're just tired, or oh, you're just sore. That's what happens when it's like, no, there's something more going on here. You know what I mean? My mom has Lyme disease.
Yeah. Along
with some other nerve diseases as well. But so very interesting topic, and
there's a little bit of background on. There's a lot of reasons I named my business Always Tired Inc., but that was one of them.
I didn't know that. You told me the Post Malone background story. Because he had the tattoo, Always Tired.
Yeah, and that's probably the first time the public's going to hear that.
And you're a big Post fan.
Yeah. So he inspired a lot of that.
Yeah. So then also Lyme disease.
Yeah, it was just, and like, I'm just like, and I'm always tired because I was hustling. You know, I'm
Yeah.
still always hustling. So
Yeah.
like it's just like all these things. I'm like, you know what? That's a perfect name.
Yeah. Yeah, I dig it. That might be one of our bearables.
Just a sleepy guy.
The limes.
Yeah, a little tick bear.
A little tick bear. Dude, no, it'll be a bear smashing a tick or
Yeah.
something.
With a lighter.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Burn them and they pop.
Yep.
That's cool. You like reptiles? Like if somebody had a snake, would you hold it?
Depends what kind of snake.
I'm just trying to find out because we started with biting your dog and stuff, and like, there's dog people and there's not dog people. I happen to not totally be a dog person,
Really?
and it has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that I don't like hair, and
Well, you wouldn't like dogs then.
and I also don't like things licking me,
Really?
and like I don't like hearing them like eat,
Really?
like drinking water. That bothers me.
Really?
But yeah, like you can have a dog. I'll pet the dog. I'll love the dogs, but like I don't need to have a dog. And like most of it comes down to just like I don't need something else that needs my attention, I guess.
Sure.
Too. Like I'm very focused on what I'm doing right now too.
Sure.
So maybe there'll be a day for that.
Sure.
But I just ask on the so I had some fish when I was a kid, fish tank.
It's funny you bring up the dog. It's interesting to hear that perspective because I always assumed that if somebody was not a dog person,
You
I
couldn't
didn't like
trust
them.
Yeah.
I didn't like them.
Yeah.
Not that I couldn't trust. I just didn't like them.
Okay.
Like if you don't like dogs, I don't like you. But obviously, I like you, and I liked you before I knew that fact.
Yeah, that's why I held it back because I'm like.
So
I've had that. But I've heard people say before too. I don't trust anybody that doesn't like dogs.
Right. It's an interesting. You have an interesting perspective that like. If I'm just not a huge dog person, how you have to defend that.
Yeah.
Where it should just be, and I'm guilty of being one of the people you got to defend it to, where it's like you should just be able to say, I'm not a big dog person and just be like, oh, okay. But it's like you have to.
It's so interesting because like people really build relationships with their dogs and stuff. And like I'm all about it. I'm all about you having that comfort of that animal, and I'm all about you building that relationship and training it and everything. A good friend of mine, she works for the town, she has a dog, and she's been training it so hard by herself since day one. She makes videos of doing it. She does it over here in the park and just does different walks with it, trains it to do different actions and stuff. But now, dude, she's training it with the search and rescue dogs. So
good.
She's training it how to
Scent.
Yeah, pick up scent. Yeah. The dog was able to pick up scent. She was telling me the other day, it was able to pick up scent off of somebody's vehicle seat and track them down 8 hours later.
I believe it.
And like, so that was like one of her first big milestones or whatever. So like, I'm all for it, man. Like, and like, that's so cool. It's just not for me. Because like I said, I there's so many other things in my life that need that kind of attention.
Yeah. Seasons of life, right?
Yeah.
So like and you make a really good point because so many people, friends of mine even, I've seen get dogs that have no business having a dog.
Yeah.
Like dogs take time, dogs take commitment,
Yeah.
dogs take responsibility, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so it's interesting you bring that up. So there's a lot of people that have dogs that shouldn't have dogs. And then, but isn't that funny? Like how, if you say, oh, I'm not a dog person, like up here, especially, like, then you have to defend that because people like, but it's really just, it's, okay, you want to know why? Well, I'm in this season of my life. Like, I'm hustling. I don't have time for a dog. Like, the dog would be at home for sometimes 14 hours by itself. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't do that. So.
I forget to feed myself. So
Right.
Like,
Right.
I'm good.
And that brings me to a really good point about, everyone asks, since me and my wife got married August 17th, when are you going to have kids? When are you going to have kids? It's like, dude, we're good on kids right now. Like, I shouldn't have to defend why we don't want to have kids right now. Like,
yeah, and it's that box that people put your life into.
Mhm.
It's like graduate high school, go to college, get married, have a kid, buy a house, be in debt up to your eyeballs for the rest of your freaking
Right.
life. It's like, no, dude, I ain't taking the conventional route. And, you know, it sucks that you actually have to, like, defend that. Ooh, it's coming out.
Yeah, I'm taking my shirt off and get a little toasty.
But, you know, like, just defending those norms, those boxes that people put you in. I wish some days, like, when a question arises that I have to defend it, I wish sometimes I could just be like, you know what, like, I ain't conventional in anything I do, so I don't need to defend that right now. Hey, we're really getting warm.
We're doing the rest of the episode no shirt.
Pull the suspenders back up, dude. That is awesome, dude.
Okay.
I feel better.
Thank you.
Do you?
Yeah, no, I was getting warm up here. Heat rises, and we're up in the top platform here. So yeah, kids, like, we're having fun right now, like,
Yeah.
and you know, and people are like, well, don't wait too long, and then, you know, if we hit 35 and we don't have kids, and we don't have kids at all, okay,
Yeah. I'll live my life.
what's
just
wrong
fine.
with that?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that have kids that shouldn't be having kids.
Yeah. More than not.
Yeah, I think there should be an application process.
Yeah. And like a vetting, and like at least
Yeah.
check your credit.
Right.
Like you get freaking Verizon checks your damn credit. Like,
Yep.
And like there's people that have no business having kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I've heard in the past, and I'm like, dude, that is the last thing I would be putting on my plate if I
Right.
had that kind of bills and
Bills and like their life not
bag,
together,
yeah,
and
just
like,
not good.
and then at the same time, it's like, well, when is the right time?
There's
it's
never.
like, well, there's never a right time. Like, but there's some logical things that, like, maybe a little savings account,
Yeah.
like maybe not paycheck to paycheck,
Yeah.
like maybe not in the balls deep in an alcohol addiction. Maybe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, maybe there should just be some prerequisites you set on yourself. Like, is there ever really a right time? No. You know, like, getting married to my wife, like, a lot of friends that, you know, like, after you get married, like, how do you know when's the right time, or how do you know when it's like, there's never really a right time. You find someone that you're willing to go through thick and thin with, and that you've been through some with, right? That's the most important advice I have for everybody.
Let's hear it.
Before you marry somebody, okay, no matter what your religious views are, political views, before you marry somebody, make sure you have gone through some together, okay?
Yeah, I like that.
There was, I was clean for almost 3 years at this time. I went through the deepest, darkest depression I've ever been in my entire life. I couldn't get off the couch for 3 weeks. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You don't go outside. You don't do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Except call your doctor and say, this is what I'm going through. Get an appointment, get some medications changed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's what the you do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got to wait it out. There's no fast acting for that.
No.
Go through some like that with someone that claims to love you or you claim to love, and see how that pans out.
Yep.
That woman didn't leave my side. When you're down like that, you want someone that's going to step up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard these quotes before about being 100% in a relationship all the time, and it's like, that's not even possible. No. But then I heard the beauty, like, be 100% together.
Yep.
So if I'm 20, she needs to be 80 that day, or 75, or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But like, when I was down on that couch, no showers, I'm clean. I've been clean for almost 3 years. Like,
yeah.
Money in the bank, not as much, you know, I'm not as well off as I am now, but because I just started the business not that long, you know, and how are they going to respond to that?
Mm-hmm. I think that's huge.
It is the ticket. Okay, and then having God centered in your relationship, that's so important for me and her as well. We're not perfect churchgoers. We're not perfect Bible readers.
Yeah.
I swear. She swears. But having that God-centered relationship.
Yeah.
And having someone that you know when you're at your worst. I mean, because that's hell. That's 3 weeks. I'm not making a single dollar. The house is a mess, right? Because she's still working full time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she comes home and there I am again on the couch, haven't moved, and now there's a couple more dirty cups next to the bed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Or next to the couch of water. You know, because you can't even really eat. You know, how do they respond to that moment?
Yeah, dude, and I think what's actually so interesting about this conversation is that it mirrors very much some stuff I've been through.
Lay it on me.
It was years ago now, longer ago than even you there. So this was probably, what are we, 30?
Yep. I'm 31.
So yeah, 5, 6, 7 years ago. Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's really interesting that that part of my life kind of becomes a blur.
Right.
But there was 2 people in my life at the time, and I didn't have a girlfriend at the time. So going back to your point of like going through some shit with your wife and before you get married and whatever, just kind of like to see how they respond, and like obviously you're not doing this intentionally, but you're able to pick up on how they respond to that stuff and whatever. Very much the same. You can test your mom's patience that way too. You can test your best friend's patience that way too, and their loyalty, and and dude, I went through this for a long time, and there was probably 3 week span where it was like deep like that, where like I didn't move basically, but it was a month, few months, 6 months, whatever, of like real dark times. And my best friend Michael, he lives in Colorado right now. We were in school since kindergarten together, and dude, every time, and I've told him this like afterwards. I'm like, dude, I called you crying, I called you pissed off, I called you happy. You never knew what you were gonna get from day to day, and you still picked up the phone. And that meant more than anything to me, because it was like he almost picked up the phone more then than he does now, because he was like, I gotta make sure I'm there. So because he knew I was going through something. So
well, and he could feel your spirit, and
Yeah.
now it's like he knows your spirit is doing a lot better. So it's like, okay, if I don't answer him one day, it's because I don't want to talk.
Yeah, and like, dude, my mom would sleep with her phone on her chest.
Yeah,
because like I was just going through so much and my mom's my angel for sure. I mean, she's like, dude, the I put that woman through, and not by being a bad son to her or treating her like just the I put her through because of the way I was and the depression I was in, just as she was my support system and stuff. It's like, dude, I'll never be able to like repay her for that. And like, I can't imagine the emotional, the taxing, like Emily coming home every day knowing you weren't going to be in a different spot, and like and not knowing when this was going to end. I mean, that's got to be so draining. And I've been there too, in positions where friends or whatever have been, depressed and stuff. So I do get that a little bit, but like, especially from a mother's perspective. But yeah, to your point, it's like you really find out who your people are pretty quick.
And so before you get married, like, is there a right time? No, never. There's never a right time. There's got to be a point where you decide to make this commitment to somebody, but go through something.
Yeah.
Go through something. Yeah, and throughout the day, she would text me all day, worried about me, just like, and it doesn't always have to be that dark and deep. You can go through some that isn't like that, too. Like, she struggled with her relationship with her dad her whole life, like, and then when I came into the picture, I let it go on for a while and just kind of observed it because it wasn't my place. But then when we got, after we start saying I love you and I mean it, then it's like I step in and say, like, this isn't okay. how you're being treated. Like, we're gonna have a talk about it, and like go through something like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, bring them to a funeral, bring them to a family event, and have to warn them about your family, and just say, hey, just so you know, we're a little crazy.
Yeah.
And see how they get through that. You know what I mean? Go on a long car ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go without sleep for 17 hours because you're both busting your ass doing home remodels. Work on a project together at the house.
Yeah. That's
that one will get you.
That's a must.
That'll get you. You work on a project together at the house.
Mm-hmm.
See how you guys get through those things. Do we get in arguments? Absolutely. Do we raise our voice at each other sometimes? Absolutely. But I knew she was the one when you come together after those moments
Mm-hmm.
and talk both sides and go to bed happy.
Yeah, dude. So we're about to hit the outro. We love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
We're not even on the camera.
I'm still dancing.